Hey everyone, Veggie Lisa here. I am so excited that you decided to join me in this journey to a better, healthier you. We are going to break down all the information you need to know to make sure that you are set up for success. When you go to the grocery store, do you ever even look at the food labels? Most people just reach for the items that they like, but they rarely look at the food label. Ingredient list, serving size, and macronutrient breakdown, it's all important. And I know this can be really overwhelming, but today we are gonna break down and talk about how to read a nutrition label. There are definitely things to avoid, things to look for, and what you actually want to put down on your grocery list. First things first, what exactly is a nutrition facts label? The nutrition facts label helps you determine the amount of calories and nutrients in one serving of that food. Nutrients include fats, carbohydrates, proteins, vitamins, and minerals. This information helps you know whether you're eating a healthy and balanced diet. To get in and out of the store with your sanity intact, have a game plan and know what you are looking for so that you can quickly scan the label for the most important information. Here's what you should zero in on. On the back of every packaged product is a white nutrition facts label with an ingredient list below. The first thing listed on the nutrition facts label is calories. Calories provide a measure of how much energy you get from one serving of this food. Many Americans consumed more calories than they need without meeting the recommended intakes for a number of nutrients. This can actually lead to added weight gain. The calorie section of the label can help you manage your weight so you could gain, lose, or even maintain. The amount shown on the label refer to one single serving. If you tend to eat more than the listed serving size in one sitting, do the math to get the numbers right. For many people, this is the first and most important stop on the label. But a higher calorie food might actually be worth eating if it also contains a lot of good nutrients. So here's a general guide to calories. 40 calories is pretty low, 100 calories is moderate, and 400 calories or more is high. The general guide to calories provides just a general reference for calories when you look at a nutrition facts label. This guide is based on a 2,000 calorie diet. The nutrients listed first are the ones Americans generally eat in adequate amounts. Eating too much fat, saturated fat, trans fat, cholesterol, or even sodium may increase your risk of certain chronic diseases like heart disease, some cancers, or even high blood pressure. The second thing on the label listed is fat. If most of the fat content actually comes from a healthy unsaturated fat, you're probably good to go. If the fat is mainly saturated and the product has any trans fat, put it back on the shelf. Trans fat has been shown to increase levels of our bad cholesterol while decreasing the levels of our good cholesterol. You want to avoid these products, but don't be fooled by a label that lists 0 grams of trans fats. Because of a loophole, a product can actually contain up to half a gram of trans fat without it needing to be listed. If it has made with partially hydrogenated oil, there are trans fats in them. This is important. I recommend that you keep your intake of saturated fat and cholesterol as low as possible to make sure that your heart stays healthy. The third thing on the label is cholesterol. Saturated and trans fats make heart disease more likely. Less than 10% of your total daily calories should come from saturated fats. Monounsaturated and polyunsaturated fats are healthier choices since they actually don't lower or even affect your cholesterol levels. The fourth thing listed is sodium. Excess sodium can raise blood pressure, which increases heart disease risk, and it may be a sign of a more highly processed food. Eating a diet high in sodium can inhibit your weight loss. In fact, you will most likely crave salt and even retain extra water weight that your body just doesn't need. Moving on to carbohydrates. Carbohydrates is what gives our body energy faster than anything else. There are basically 3 types of carbohydrates: sugars, fructose, and fiber. So go ahead and eat those whole grain breads, cereals, rice, and pasta, and also don't forget your fruits and veggies. Some example of some whole grain carbohydrates are brown rice, quinoa, whole wheat bread, oatmeal, barley, popcorn, wild rice, and bran flakes. Not all breads are created equal. This is where manufacturers can get pretty tricky with their wording to make sure you think their product is whole grain. Beware of the words multigrain and enriched flour. These are just not whole grain sources. Moving on to fiber. Most Americans don't get enough dietary fiber in their diets. Eating a diet high in fiber can promote healthy bowel function. Additionally, a diet rich in fruits, vegetables, and grain products that contain fiber, particularly soluble fiber, and low in saturated fat and cholesterol, may reduce the risk of heart disease. Moving on to sugar. The number on the label doesn't actually distinguish between naturally occurring sugars like lactose in dairy products or fructose in fruit, and added sugars like high fructose corn syrup and brown rice syrup. Look at the ingredients for the source of the added sugar. Look for the words down in the ingredient list such as palm sugar or invert sugar, sweetener as in corn syrup or corn sweetener, and brown rice or malt syrup. Also watch for words ending in OSE like fructose or glucose. It is important to know the source of your sugar. If sugar is one of the first 2 ingredients on the label, don't bring it home. Ingredients are ordered by what the product is mostly made up of, starting from the biggest ingredient to the smallest ingredient. Last, but certainly not least, is protein. Choose lean meats, poultry, fish, beans, nuts, and even low-fat dairy products. A good rule of thumb to find out actually how much protein you need is to times the number of pounds you weigh by 0.7. For example, if you weigh 150 pounds, times that by 0.7, and that's how many grams of protein you need a day, which is 105. Since I'm a vegetarian and I don't even eat meat, I choose to buy high quality protein powder like Ideal Raw. It is simple, fast, and so easy to get in my protein requirements every day. Obviously, the best way to avoid being misled by nutrition labels is to avoid processed foods altogether. However, if you decide to buy packaged foods, and we all do, it is necessary to sort out the junk from the higher quality products. Keep in mind that whole food doesn't need an ingredient list because the whole food is the ingredient. If you were ever curious about the nutritional information of a whole food source, that can easily be found online. Adding more whole foods to your diet will not only help you increase your metabolism, but prevent many diseases that are linked to eating processed foods. I am so excited that we are going on this journey together. Tomorrow we're going to be de-junking your pantry, so get ready and I'll see you then.